The first time my neighbor saw a girl kiss me, it was in front of the whole town. Ridge Tavern was packed tighter than it should have been for a snowstorm. Wet boots pounded old wood floors. Amber bulbs threw soft light over pool tables and ski jackets. Snow slammed the windows so hard the glass rattled in the frames. I sat at a high top near the stone fireplace in a plain gray t-shirt, muscles still tight from my last shift as a search and rescue pilot. The heat from the fire hit my shoulders. The cold from the door hit my neck every time someone walked in. Across from me, Harper sat with her hands wrapped around a glass of water. No makeup. Dark hair pulled into a messy knot at the back of her head. She wore a flannel shirt and jeans like she was allergic to trying too hard. She was also my next-door neighbor. Her eyes were not on me. They were on the paperwork in front of her. County notice. Red stamp. A photo of her cabin taped at the top. Her jaw worked once, tight. She traced the edge of the paper with one finger, like she wanted to tear it in half. "Condemned," she said quietly. "They are really using that word." "They are using it because someone wants your land cheap," I said. Her mouth curved in a humorless line. "You mean Mick?" Before I could answer, I heard my name. "Cade Carter," a bright voice called from behind me. "You promised me a drink next time you landed in one piece." I did not promise that, but I knew the voice. Brittany slid up onto the stool beside me like she had been invited. Tight red top, perfect hair, perfume sharp enough to cut through the smell of garlic fries and beer. She pressed her hip against my leg and leaned in close. She put one manicured hand on my shoulder like she was claiming property. "Still playing hero?" she asked, smile wide. I felt Harper's attention shift without even looking at her. There was a small pause in the air. The rim of her glass stopped moving. "Off shift," I said, "just helping a neighbor with paperwork." Brittany glanced at the county notice between Harper's hands, then dismissed it. "You work too much," she said to me. "You need to let someone take care of you for once." She leaned in further, hair brushing my jaw, lips angling toward mine with the confidence of someone very used to getting what she wants. I moved an inch, that was all. Her mouth hit the corner of my lips instead of square where she aimed. No shove, no scene, just a clean miss. I lifted my hand and caught her wrist, firm and calm. I guided her back a little, away from my face and away from Harper's paperwork. "Not here," I said. Brittany laughed like it was a joke we were sharing. "Then where?" she asked. I could feel Harper's eyes on us now. Not soft, sharp, controlled. "Home," I said. "Alone." Brittany's smile faltered just a fraction, then snapped back in place. She tapped my shoulder with her free hand like I had disappointed her, but she would allow it. "Your loss, hero," she said. She slid down from the stool, dropped a wink that felt more like a threat than a promise, and disappeared into the crowd, already talking to someone else. Noise rushed back into the space around us. Music. Laughter. The crack of pool balls. Harper wiped a ring of condensation off the table with the side of her hand a little too hard. The paper crinkled. "You always handle things like that?" she asked. "Only the ones that want to explode," I said. Her eyes met mine, held a second longer than polite. The brown in them was dark and steady, but there was a spark I had not seen before. Something hot and jealous she did not like being caught feeling. "You could have just kissed her," Harper said. "Would have been easier." "Easier for who?" I asked. Her throat moved. She looked away first, down at the red stamp. Outside, the wind hit the building so hard, the windows shook. The whole tavern seemed to lean into the storm. Mountain life meant learning which sounds were normal and which sounds meant you should run. Harper lifted the notice so I could see the whole thing again. "Condemned if not brought to code," she read. 30 days to comply or vacate." Her voice stayed even, but I knew her well enough to hear the fear underneath. "That cabin is all I have left from my dad," she said. "His name is still on the deed. If it gets condemned, the bank takes it, sells it, and I still owe the debt, so I lose the place and the money." She set the paper down, fingers flat on it like she was trying to hold it still. "Why do you care so much about an old cabin, Harper?" I asked. I knew some of the answer, but I wanted to hear her say it. She kept her eyes on the table. "Because it is the only thing he left me," she said. "And because Mick signed my name on filings I never saw and billed me for structural work he never did." My jaw tightened. "He forged your signature?" She flipped to another page. Her printed name sat under a shaky scribble that did not match the clean signature on her driver's license I had seen once when she locked herself out and needed me to sign a package. "That is not my handwriting," she said, "but the county thinks he fixed the framing, so they think I am the problem for not paying him more to fix it again." "And you are sure you do not want to press charges? Why?" I asked. "Because while I fight him, the clock on the bank keeps ticking," she said. Her fingers curled into a fist on top of the paper, then forced themselves flat again. "Because he knows I do not have time or money. That is the play. Make me desperate and then offer to buy the lot for nothing." My chest tightened, not with romance yet, but with a hard, clean anger. I had seen too many disasters built by greed and shortcuts. "This is not your problem, Cade," she added quickly, like she had practiced the line. "You fly helicopters and pull people off slopes. You do not have to fix my roof, too." "It becomes my problem when a corrupt contractor is counting on you being alone," I said. Her eyes flicked up fast. For a moment, all the walls dropped, and I saw how tired she really was, how scared, how stubborn. "Besides," I added, "I am pretty good with roofs." She snorted, the sound sharp. "You are pretty good at collecting admirers," she said, nodding in the direction Brittany had gone. I leaned my elbows on the table. "Is that what this is about?" I asked. She lifted her chin. "What?" "You getting mad because someone kissed me in a bar," I said. Her cheeks went hot. "I am not mad," she said. "I just think it is reckless to let some random girl distract you when we are trying to figure out if my ceiling is going to fall on my head." "She is not a distraction," I said. "Good," Harper snapped. "She is nothing." I finished. That shut her up. I let the silence sit for a beat. The fire popped in the stone fireplace behind me. Snow beat at the glass like it wanted in. Then I leaned closer. Close enough that I could see the gold flecks in her eyes. Close enough that I could feel her breath catch. "My neighbor got jealous seeing a girl kiss me," I said, keeping my voice low so only she could hear. "So if it bothers you that much, Harper?" Her lips parted just a little. "Then come closer," I said. "Kiss me like that." Her fingers tightened on the glass. For a second, I thought she might actually do it. The air between us pulled tight like a line under strain. Then she pushed her chair back. The legs scraped the worn wood. "I am not one of your rescue jobs," she said. "I do not kiss you to fix my problems." Quote. She grabbed the notice, folded it in half with sharp, angry movements and stood. "Tomorrow," she said. "You want to help? Meet me at the cabin. Show me what is really failing." She walked away through the crowd, shoulders stiff, braids swinging like a challenge. I sat there a second longer, feeling the ghost of the kiss that never landed and the echo of the challenge that did. Outside, the storm got worse. Somewhere up on that ridge, Harper's roof took every hit alone. Tomorrow, it would not. By morning, the storm had buried the street. My truck crawled up the hill through a tunnel of white. Tall pines leaned under the weight, branches hanging low like they were tired of winter already. Harper's cabin sat near the top, dark roof half lost under snow. A bright red paper was taped crooked on the front window. From the road, it looked like a target. I killed the engine and stepped out into knee-deep snow. The air bit my face. My breath went white. Harper stood on the porch in a heavy sweater and boots. She held a folder in one hand and the door frame with the other, like she was holding herself up by force. Her cheeks were pink from cold and anger. A man in a bright orange jacket was on the steps with a hammer, tapping at a railing that did not need fixing. Mick. I had seen his truck around town, always parked where trouble started. "You cannot be here while there is a stop work order," Harper said, voice tight. "It is a county flex," Mick said, loud and smooth. "They want more money. Let me handle it for you." "You billed me for engineering you never did," she said. She opened the folder and held up a printed email. I caught the subject line in big bold letters. "Missing calculations. The email was from the county. It was addressed to Mick. He glanced at the paper and shrugged. "They are just fishing," he said. "I can fix it for a fee." I climbed the last step and took the red paper on the window in. Stop work order. White block letters on top. Handwritten notes under it. No more structural changes until review. "Morning," I said. Mick looked me over quick. "You the neighbor?" he asked. "The pilot who plays handyman now." "I am the neighbor who reads notices," I said, "and the neighbor who does not like roofs and blizzards held together with promises." Mick's smile thinned. "This is between my client and me," he said. "I am not your client," Harper said. She flipped to another page and laid it flat on the porch post. Her printed name sat on a signature line. Under it was a shaky scrawl that did not look like her clean, straight signature from her driver's license. I knew the difference. "They have this on file as my consent," she said. "I never signed it." Mick leaned closer and lowered his voice like that made him honest. "You are making this personal," he said. "You want to keep this place, you need me. Without my license on your permits, the county can condemn this cabin. Next big storm takes it the rest of the way down." Harper did not move back. Her jaw locked. She slid another paper halfway out of the folder. The bank logo sat in the corner. I saw the word default and a date that was too close. She pushed it back into the folder fast, like she had flashed something private. "If the cabin goes," she said, "I still owe the money." That answered the question everyone liked to ask. Why not just walk away? Mick stepped down off the porch, grinning like he had already won. "Sign a release and we can talk," he said, "or freeze out here on your pride." "No," Harper said. The word was flat and sharp. He walked through the snow to his truck and drove off, throwing slush at my boots as he went. The wind hit the cabin again, hard enough that the roof gave a low, complaining sound. Inside, the place smelled like cedar and dust. A stone fireplace sat cold on one wall. Tools were stacked in one corner. A ladder leaned under a stained crack in the ceiling. Harper set the folder on the table and pressed her palm over it. For a second, her shoulders dipped. Then she straightened them and looked at me. "I am not staying because I love this view," she said. "My dad left this place with rules." The bank added their own. If I fail the rules, I lose everything and still owe everyone. Quote, "What did Mick offer you?" I asked. She opened the folder and slid one sheet toward me. It was a small contract, release of claims in one paragraph. Option to buy the property in another, for less than the loan amount. "He wants the land," I said. "He wants it cheap," she answered. "He wants me scared enough to sign." My hands curled slowly into fists. "This is not your problem, Cade," she said again, softer this time. "You do not have to get in the middle of it." "It became my problem the second he forged your name and waited for the snow to do his work," I said. "You are not alone on this ridge, Harper. Show me what is failing." The house answered for her. A soft ripping sound came from the hallway. Cold water hit the floor with a sharp drip. Then another. Harper grabbed a flashlight and climbed a short stepladder. A brown stain spread across the white paint overhead, growing dark and shiny. "It can wait," she said. "We should call the bank first." Another gust slammed into the cabin. The window frame rattled. Snow hissed against the glass. A third drop hit the floor, louder. "It cannot wait," I said. "If that leak runs all night, your ceiling will be on the floor by morning." Her chin lifted like I had challenged her. "Then we go now," she said. I went to the corner where I kept my gear in my own small place and brought it over. Harness, rope, ice screws, headlamp. I laid them out on her floor like a small, simple plan. "You do this a lot," she said, watching my hands move. "Bad weather and bad decisions keep me busy," I said. "I am helping," Harper said. "You are helping by staying alive," I answered before I could soften it. "You can keep tension on the rope from the doorway. That keeps us both upright." She hated being told what to do. I saw it in the way her shoulders squared and her mouth went tight. Another cold drip hit the floor between us. She took a long breath and let it out. "Fine," she said. "I will run the line." We stepped onto the back porch. The world was white and wild. Snow whipped sideways. The roof was a slick, dark edge above us. I clipped the rope to an anchor point and then to my harness, then ran it across the porch beam to her hands. "You keep steady tension," I said. "If I slip, you plant your feet and lean back. Do not let go." Her eyes met mine. All the jokes were gone now, only focus. "Understood," she said. Her voice was clear. I climbed into the storm. The roof was a sheet of ice under a layer of snow. My gloves dug for grip. The wind tried to peel me off like I was a loose shingle. At the ridge, I saw the problem. Torn underlayment. A long, diagonal rip where someone had stopped mid-repair and never came back. Shingles half-nailed, half missing. The tarp flapped and snapped hard in the wind, doing almost nothing. "Of course," I muttered. I stayed low and worked fast. I drove screws through boards to pin the tarp down along the rip, fighting the wind for each inch. Snow stung my face. My eyelashes iced over. One gust hit harder than the rest. My boots slid. For one long second, the whole world tilted. The rope caught. It jerked tight around my waist, swung me back against the roof. Down below, Harper did not scream. She did exactly what I told her to do. She leaned back hard with the rope in both hands, boots planted, body locked into the frame of the door like she refused to let me go. I finished the last row, checked the edges, then crawled back down. My arms burned, my fingers hurt. When I dropped off the roof, the porch felt like another planet. Harper yanked the door open so fast I almost walked into it. Warm air and the smell of wood smoke spilled out. She had the fireplace going now. "You are bleeding," she said. I wiped my brow with the back of my glove. My skin stung where the ice edge had caught it. "It is just a scratch," I said. She did not fuss. She grabbed a small first aid kit from a drawer and stood in front of me, close enough that I saw the way her lashes clumped with melted snow. Her hands were careful and firm as she dabbed antiseptic on my forehead. "My dad always said, 'Fix it early,'" she said quietly, "before it gets expensive." "Smart man," I said. Her eyes flicked up to mine for a second, then away again like she did not want me to see the worry there. Outside, the wind kept trying to break the cabin. Inside, Harper was doing everything she could not to break with it. The power went at dusk. A flicker, a soft click, and then the hum of the fridge and the blower fan died. The cabin fell still. Harper looked at her phone. The signal bars dropped one by one until there was nothing. "Perfect," she said under her breath. "Welcome to winter," I said. I lit a small lantern and set it on the mantel. Warm yellow light pushed the shadows back. The fire in the hearth crackled steady, painting the walls in orange and gold. "We can run a few things on the generator," I said. "Heat fan, some lights, maybe the well pump." Her head snapped up. "You have a generator?" "I like being ready," I said. "Come on." We stepped out to the side shed. Snowflakes spun in the beam of the lantern. I opened the cabinet and showed her the choke, the fuel valve, the pull cord. Simple steps. Always the same order. "You want control?" I said. "Start it." Quote. She hesitated. "If I break it, we freeze," she said. "You will not break it," I said. "Pull like you mean it." She squared her shoulders, wrapped her hands around the cord, and yanked. The engine coughed, died. Her mouth pressed into a line. "Half choke," I said, again. She pulled harder. The engine caught, then settled into a steady growl. Harper stared at it with something like pride and surprise mixed together. "Good," I said. She looked at me. In that moment, the respect in her eyes was clean and sharp, and it hit me low in the chest. Back inside, the lantern and fire painted everything soft. I pulled out my tape measure and a small notebook. "If we rebuild the header over your south window, I need exact spans," I said. She lifted a brow. "You are really measuring my house by lantern light," she said. "I have done worse by headlamp," I said. "Hold this." I put the hook of the tape in her hand. Our fingers brushed. Warmth shot up my arm. She moved to the far wall and held it flat, posture straight, chin set. "I understand tape measures," she said. "I know you do," I said. The metal tape hissed out between us. I marked numbers, drew a quick sketch, and felt the whole cabin start to turn from a problem into a plan. Somewhere in the middle of all that, I heard her humming under her breath, a soft tune, low and steady. "Are you humming?" I asked. She froze. "No." "You are," I said. "You are not bad at it either." Color crept up her neck. "It helps me not think about all of this," she said. "About losing the place." "Then keep humming," I said. Near the fire, a bundle of foil I had tucked into the coals started to smell like roasted garlic and bread. Her head turned toward it like she could not stop herself. "What is that?" she asked. "Food," I said. "The complicated kind. Bread and garlic." I opened the foil and tore a piece off, steam rising. I handed it to her. She took a bite. Her eyes closed for half a second. Her shoulders dropped. "That is unfairly good," she said. "I will add it to my list of skills," I said. A fast snap sounded as the tape measure lock slipped and rewound. The hook jumped and flicked sawdust onto the bridge of her nose. She went still. I laughed once before I could stop it. "You have something," I said, touching my own face. She wiped at her nose and only smeared it more. For a second she looked shocked. Then she caught her reflection in the dark window and burst into a quick, real laugh. It was the first sound all day that did not have fear in it. We stood there, close but not touching, with sawdust on her nose and garlic in the air. The storm beat at the walls. Inside, for the first time, it felt like we might actually beat it back. Morning came soft and gray. The storm loosened its grip and left everything heavy and quiet. My body ached in all the places that had hit the roof. Harper sat at the kitchen table with her laptop open, hair still damp from a fast shower, hoodie sleeves shoved up. The generator hummed low outside. The folder of papers sat beside her, half open like a wound. "Cade," she said. Not loud, but sharp enough to cut through the hum. I set my coffee down and walked over. "What is it?" quote. She turned the screen toward me. A county filing sat open, Mick's company name at the top, Structural Remediation and Engineering Services, her cabin address. Under it was her name and a digital signature. "He filed this yesterday," she said. "It says he did all the work the county asked for and that I signed off." She pulled a printed copy of her real signature from the folder. Side by side, the difference was clear. Her real one was clean and straight. The one on the screen leaned crooked, letters smashed together. "That is fake," I said. "Yes," she said, "but the county does not know that." I watched the way her hand shook once on the mouse, then went still. Mick was not just playing with wood and nails. He was playing with paper. And paper was what banks and offices listened to. "He wants them to think he fixed everything," I said. "So when the roof fails, they blame you for not paying him more." Her jaw clenched. "He is trying to push the bank to call the note," she said. "If they say the work is done and I still owe him, I look like the problem." "Good," I said. She stared at me like I had lost my mind. "Good? Good that it is this obvious," I said. "Electronic filings leave tracks. A fake like this is easier to prove than a half-done nail hidden under snow." She let out a hard little breath and rubbed her temple. "So what now?" I took my phone out of my pocket and opened a voice memo. I hit play. Mick's voice filled the kitchen, rough and smug. "Without my license on your permits, the county can condemn this cabin. Next big storm takes it the rest of the way down." Harper went still. Her eyes lifted slowly to mine. "You recorded him," she said. "I document threats," I said. "It keeps liars honest." For a moment there was no sound but the soft crackle of the fire and the low drone of the generator. Then she pushed back from the table and stood. "Okay," she said. Her voice had that flat, steady tone that meant she had decided something. "Get your coat. Show me how you handle this." The county truck came first, bright logo on the door. The inspector climbed out with a clipboard. Behind him, Mick's truck rolled up, followed by a sheriff's SUV. The deputy got out slow, hands in his pockets, face neutral in a way that was not really neutral. They all walked up onto the porch together. "Ms. Lane," the inspector said, "we had a complaint filed about unauthorized structural changes." Mick lifted a thick envelope like he was doing a favor. I warned her this would happen, he said. I am just trying to keep her safe. Deputy Ray leaned on the rail and watched, eyes flicking from Mick to Harper. Let's keep this calm, he said. Harper did not look at Ray. She opened her folder and laid papers out on the small table by the door. Email about missing calculations. The fake digital filing printed with the bad signature. The bank notice. A page with the word "Stop Work Order" highlighted. This is what he filed, she said. This is what he did not do. And this is the bank pushing me toward default using his lie. Mick snorted. You cannot prove that is not your signature, he said. Maybe not yet, I said. But I can prove you threatened to use the next storm to finish off her roof. Quote, I set my phone on the table and hit play again. Everyone heard it this time. The inspector's eyes narrowed. The deputy's jaw shifted. You recording me without telling me. Mick snapped. I document my jobs, I said, calm. You walked on to my neighbor's porch and spoke. That is all. The inspector looked tired. This stop order stays in place until a licensed engineer signs off on a full repair plan, he said. That is our rule. Mick jumped on it. See? He said to Harper, you cannot move without me. I have the license. Harper's eyes came to me. You do not need him, I said. You need a real engineer who is not trying to buy your land. Her brow furrowed. Where are we supposed to find that? I pulled out my phone again and scrolled to a saved number. Same place I find most of my good decisions, I said. A guy who has saved my life twice. An hour later, a gray pickup rolled into the drive. Commander Lewis climbed out, coat zipped, hair more silver than brown, eyes sharp. He had been my CO in the Guard. Now he worked as a structural engineer and liked mountains better than offices. He shook Harper's hand first. Ma'am, he said, I am Lewis, civil and structural engineer. Cade says your cabin is in a fight. You are licensed in this state? The inspector asked. Lewis reached into his pocket and pulled out a worn leather wallet. He flipped it open to a card and a copy of his seal. Yes, he said, active and current. We walked the whole cabin. He checked the beams we had shored up, the new screws in the tarp, the soaked insulation, the old cuts in the rafters. He measured. He wrote notes. He crawled into the cold, low crawl space and came back with dirt on his knees and a clear idea in his head. Temporary work is sound, he said at last. Roof load is under control for now. Permanent fix is clear. He set his clipboard on the table, pulled out a small metal stamp and ink pad, and pressed the seal onto the first page of his report. Under state law, he said, even, this seal means a licensed engineer has reviewed and takes responsibility for this plan. If the county wants to keep the stop work order, they must put their engineering reasons in writing. The inspector swallowed. We will have to send that to the office, he said. Do that, Lewis replied. I will wait. The next morning we drove down to the county building, fluorescent lights. Thin carpet. A line of people holding forms they did not want to be holding. The clerk's whole posture changed when she saw the seal on Lewis's report. This is a PE stamp, she said. Yes, Lewis said. Please log it and route it. A building official came out to the counter. He read the report, called someone, then came back with a form. Stop work order lifted, he said. He stamped it. The sound was small, but it felt huge. Harper took the paper in both hands. Her fingers shook once, then steadied. She folded it like it was made of glass and slipped it into her folder. In the hallway, Mick was waiting. His eyes went right to the form. The color drained from his face. You cannot just undo it, he said. You need my sign-off. No, Lewis said, calm. She needs a licensed engineer. She has one. I stepped closer, between Mick and Harper. You filed a fake document with a fake signature, I said. You billed her for work you did not do. If she files a complaint with the state board, you risk your license and your business. Harper took out her phone. Her thumb hovered over the screen. You are bluffing, Mick said. Try me, she said. Her voice was low and steady. Withdraw your lien. Refund what you billed for phantom work. Or I send this in the recording to every office that cares. Mick looked from her to me to Lewis. He saw no give in any of us. His hand shook as he pulled his phone out. Fine, he muttered. I am not losing my license over a stupid cabin." He tapped through his banking app. A moment later, Harper's phone buzzed. "Refund confirmation." She checked it and showed it to me. "Money in. Proof." "Now withdraw the lien," she said. He glared, then took out a folded paper and handed it over. "You think this is a win?" he said. "You are still alone on that hill. Next time something breaks, let us see who comes running." Quote. He walked away, smaller than I had ever seen him. In the truck on the way back, Harper held the lifted stop order and the refund email like they were a new kind of shield. "You did not have to do any of this," she said quietly. "I know," I said. "You could have stayed in your own house, minded your own business, let me drown in paperwork and snow." "I do not let my neighbor drown," I said. She looked at me, really looked at me, like she was stripping away the jokes and the easy answers. "I thought you were just a guy who liked to fix things," she said. "I did not know you were this deliberate." I parked the truck in front of the cabin and cut the engine. The world went quiet again. Snow sat heavy on the trees. The sky was a pale, cold blue. "Harper," I said, "I do not do anything halfway. Not work, not fights, not kisses?" She finished, the corner of her mouth twitching. I smiled once. Not those either. The air between us got warm despite the cold. She shifted closer on the bench seat, slow on purpose, so I had time to move away if I wanted. I did not. Her hand caught the front of my jacket, fingers curling in the fabric. "You told me last night," she said, voice low, "if it bothered me that much I should come closer and kiss you like that." Her eyes were open and clear, no running. No joke. "So," she said, cheeks pink, breath soft, "what if I am jealous, Cade?" My heart kicked hard. "Then come closer," I said, just as soft she did. Her lips met mine in a kiss that was not about show or anger or winning. It was slow and sure, a promise instead of a question. Her hand tightened once on my jacket, then relaxed as she leaned into me, like she had decided it was safe. When we finally pulled back, her forehead rested against mine for a second. "I am still not one of your rescue jobs," she said. "I know," I said. "You are the one I want to stand next to when the roof starts to creak." In a small town, bad roofs are not the only things that spread fast. Stories do too. With the stop work order gone, the next week was all lumber and sawdust. I set new beams. Harper hauled boards and held studs while I drilled. She learned how to set a level, how to read a tape, how to tell when a board was crowned. She worked in the same gray beanie every day, hair tucked under it, cheeks red from the cold. At first she moved like she was afraid to touch anything wrong. By the third day she was arguing with me about which wall to open first. "The south wall is worse," she said, tapping the plan I had sketched. I shook my head. "North side takes the wind. We brace that one first." She crossed her arms. "You are sure?" "Yes." She held my eyes for a long second, then nodded. "Then show me why." So I did. That was our pattern now. She did not just let me fix things. She learned each choice until it made sense in her bones. When we ran low on screws and hangers, we drove into town. The sky was clear blue, like it had forgotten it had ever held a storm. Snowbanks piled up along the road. My truck heater worked overtime. Harper sat beside me, hands wrapped around a travel mug. Her knee brushed mine every time we hit a bump. She did not move it away. At the hardware store, people stared more than usual. The story about the Ridge girl and the contractor had already started to grow legs. We loaded a cart with lumber hangers, shims, and another roll of underlayment. At the counter, Harper waited with the receipt while I checked one more aisle for a part. On my way back, I heard it. A woman's voice behind us, soft but not soft enough. "Yeah, that is her," the woman said. "The new girl from the city. My cousin said she is paying that pilot with more than money." Another woman laughed under her breath. "Guess that is one way to get a roof fixed." The words hit like a slap. Cheap, lazy, designed to sound like a joke and feel like a knife. Harper went very still. Her hand tightened around the paper. She did not turn. Her shoulders pulled back, like she was bracing for impact. I turned, instead. The two women were local. One I recognized from the coffee shop. The other from town council meetings. They both stopped talking when they saw my face. "Who told you that?" I asked. The first woman blinked. "Excuse me? Who told you she is paying me with anything but cash and paperwork?" I said. My voice stayed low. Calm. Sometimes that is worse than shouting. "It is just what people are saying," she said. "Everyone knows Mick had trouble with her. You do not have to get upset." I pulled my phone from my jacket and opened the photo of the county form. The stamped lift on the stop work order, Lewis's seal. The refund from Mick. The lien withdrawal. All of it in one shot. "Here is what is real," I said. He filed fake papers with her name forged on them. He filed a lien for work he never did. He had to refund her or risk losing his license. I held the screen up so they could see the seal and the words. "If you keep repeating his story," I said, steady, "you become part of it. You help him hurt a woman he already tried to cheat. And there is a word for that." The second woman's face went pale. "We did not know," she said. "Now you do," I said. "So you do not say it again." They both looked past me at Harper. She was turned partly toward us now, face calm but eyes bright. "Sorry," the first woman said. Her voice was small. Harper did not smile, did not say it was fine. She just gave a short nod. "Next time, ask me before you decide what my life is," she said. We walked out with the bag of hardware and the small, clean feeling that comes when lies lose air. In the truck, Harper stared out the windshield for a minute, watching a kid drag a sled across the parking lot. Her hand was clenched around the strap of her bag. "You did not have to do that," she said. "Yes," I said, "I did." She glanced at me. "Why?" "Because he wanted you alone," I said. "He wanted people to doubt you, so you would not fight. I do not let my neighbor get cut up by rumors when I have the receipts." Her eyes softened. "You keep saying neighbor," she said quietly. "That is where it started," I said. "And now?" I let the question sit there. I reached across the console and took her hand, slow enough that she could pull away if she wanted. She did not. Her fingers threaded through mine like it was the most natural thing in the world. "Now you are the person I will stand next to when things go wrong," I said. "And when they go right." Her mouth curved. "That sounds big," she said. "I do not do halfway," I said. She squeezed my hand once, hard, then let go. "Good," she said. "Because we still have to hang that header." The last week of work went fast. With the official hold gone and the town noise behind us, the cabin started to feel different. Less like a problem and more like a home. We set the new header over the south window. Harper helped me lift it, both of us grunting as we eased it into place. She held it steady while I drove the last bolts. The frame did not creak. It felt solid. The inspector returned one more time. He walked through the cabin, looked at the beams, checked Lewis's final report, and signed the form. "You are good," he said. "No more red paper." When he left, Harper stood in the middle of the room with the signed approval in her hands. For a long moment she did not move. Then her shoulders dropped. "It is really safe," she said. "Yes," I answered. "It holds." She stepped closer and held the paper up so I could see it again. "I paid the bank this morning," she said. "Cure period. You were right. Quote." She pulled out another folded document. "There was a note in my dad's will," she said. "If the cabin is still standing and paid through the first winter, the small lot next to it comes with the deed." "More land," I said. "More options," she said. Her eyes met mine. "For both of us, if you want that." I did not answer with words right away. I walked to the front door and looked out at the ridge. At her cabin, my small place next door, the line of pines, the sky turning gold over the snow. Then I turned back to her. "Yes," I said, "I want that, with you." That night I drove us back down to Ridge Tavern. No snow this time, just a clear, cold sky and icy streets. Inside it was the same room as before. Same stone fireplace, same high tops, same amber lights. But it felt different walking in with her at my side. We took the same table. Brittany was there, laughing with friends near the bar. She saw us, saw Harper's hand hooked loosely in my arm, saw the way I pulled out a stool for Harper and sat close. She walked over, smile still bright. "Hero," she said, "you vanished on me." Quote, "I was on a roof," I said, "and at the county office, and on a ladder, and at the bank." Harper leaned her elbow on the table, calm. Brittany smirked. "Guess you finally let someone take care of you," she said, eyes sliding to Harper. I looked at Harper. "No," I said. "I finally met someone who takes care of herself and lets me help." For the first time, Brittany's smile looked tired. She lifted her hands. "Well, good for you both," she said, and drifted away into the crowd. Harper watched her go, then turned back to me. "You did not move your mouth this time," she said. I smiled. I did not need to. Music rolled through the room, low and warm. The fire popped. People laughed. It sounded like a town that had decided we could stay. Harper's eyes searched mine. "About that night," she said, "when she tried to kiss you and I wanted to throw the table." I laughed once. "I noticed," I said. "You said if it bothered me that much, I should come closer and kiss you like that," she said. "I remember," I said. She slid off her stool and stepped between my knees, close enough that my breath caught like it had in the truck. One hand came up to rest on my shoulder, fingers warm on my skin. "So," she said softly, "my neighbor got jealous seeing a girl kiss you." Her eyes gleamed. No shame in them now, only truth. "And?" I asked. "And I did come closer," she said. "I did kiss you like that." She leaned in and kissed me again, right there at the same table, not rushed, not shy, just sure. The room went on around us, but for a second, all I felt was her hand in my hair, her mouth on mine, and the quiet, strong beat in my chest that said this was right. When we pulled back, she rested her forehead against mine for a moment. "I am still not a rescue job," she said. "I know," I said. "You are my partner." Outside, the ridge stood against the dark. Inside, the ceiling of the old tavern held steady. So did the roof over Harper's cabin on the hill. And so did we.